I've always wanted to be able to do a full planche push-up, which is when you do a push-up without your legs touching the ground. So I've decided I'm clearing out my entire schedule, and for the entire month, all I'm gonna do is focus on planche push-ups. It's the month of March, so I'm calling this Planche Month Madness. So for this video and challenge, we're gonna see, can I achieve a full planche push-up before the month is over?
Oh, hi, Mark.
What's up, Freccero fam? Welcome back to my channel where I like to experience everything that life has to offer. Here is how my planche looks right now. I can do what I'm gonna call a sloppy straddle planche push-up. My form isn't the best, and my goal for this month is to go from what I'm at now to a pretty solid planche push-up. So this is day one of Planche Madness. This is how the month looks for this year. So the Friday is kind of like an odd, I feel like, one-off, and I'm gonna work out Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So I feel like for today, what I'm gonna really do is do a mini warm-up to get ready for this month, where I'm gonna do 100 tuck planche push-ups along with planche strengthening exercises. Just finished up with the 100 tuck planche push-ups. Solid way to kind of prime my body for this entire month. Now we're gonna do 6 different strength training exercises that can help with planche strength. And the workouts this month are gonna comprise of doing the planche, of course, and different planche variants, and then also strength training exercises to get better at planche. So for the second half of today's workout, I'm gonna do each one of these 6 exercises. Man, it is a beautiful day out, and today is the first kind of real day of Planche Madness for this month. That last workout, like I said, was kind of the preempt, or the getting ready, or the primer. Today's the first real workout. On Monday and Fridays, I'm gonna be mainly focusing on planche push-ups. Tuesday and Thursday, mainly focusing on planche holds. I'm also adding in kind of like a unique thing. I'm doing this from Simonster, and that is using ankle weights. When it comes to planches, the further your legs move out from the center of your body, like going from a tuck planche to a full planche, it gets a billion times harder, right? And especially because I'm still at that sticking point of going from straddle to full planche. When you wear ankle weights, it makes any planche exercise way harder. So what I'm gonna do is on Monday and Tuesdays, wear ankle weights. They're only 1 pound each, but just trust me, that 1 pound feels a lot heavier than you'd imagine when it comes to doing these exercises. So on Monday and Tuesdays, I'm gonna be doing weighted, in a sense, planche training, because I'm gonna be wearing the ankle weights, 1 pound on each leg, or 2 pounds total. And then on Thursday and Friday, I'm not gonna be using the ankle weights. Tell me what you gonna do. So pretty sloppy, but I'm not gonna lie, looking at my straddle planche push-up with the weighted, or the ankle weights versus how they look normally, I feel like it's kind of similar, so I guess that's kind of cool. I'm still getting more warmed up and everything. I think the biggest thing for my straddle planche push-ups to improve is getting a little bit more of a lean forward. As you notice, I look myself in the mirror to like analyze my form in real time, but to lean more forward. And I think the biggest thing, especially, getting my legs straight. So my form is getting sloppier when it comes to these straddle planche push-ups. What I've been doing is, after every round, I'll rewatch the video, of course, and critique it. And what I've been trying to do, of course, is not just doing like a little one, like doing like a full extension and like full top down straddle planche push up. And so I think what I might do for this last set, I'm doing 10 sets of 3, by the way. On this last set, I might do, I think, 3 negatives where I go up, lower down as slow as I can with really good form and quality. I'm gonna mix it up every workout. Today, I'm gonna have the workout be 3 different parts. First is what I just did, which is 10 rounds of 3 straddle planche push-ups, focusing on form and everything. Even if they're not perfect, just trying to improve the muscles in general, right, and planche strength. Second part of this workout, I'm gonna do wall planche push-ups as it's a way to cheat the planche a little bit, but you're still building strength and still doing the planche itself to be specific, and specificity is super important when training. And then the last part of the workout, the final part, will be weightlifting exercises, similar to what I did before. Trust me when I say, even though I was only using 30 pounds in each hand, those are a lot harder than they look, because you have to not only just do like a typical chest press, but you have to go all the way down. And so my goal in my mind to picture like I'm doing a planche push-up. I think that's huge, because it's very easy to go through the motions when doing some of these exercises, and there's a fine but definite line, for example, between doing a dumbbell bench press and like a planche style dumbbell bench press. Also, as a side note, in terms of my workout schedule, I'm doing each one of these 3 exercises twice, pretty much for max each. So I'm trying to get max reps in 2 times, then do the next exercise, and then the next one. Definitely a solid workout yesterday. Not gonna lie, looking back on my straddle planche push-ups, didn't like my form, but like I said, I really want to go like pretty deep in those planche push-ups, more for like building strength. I really wasn't going for perfect form as more as strength building. Again, got to start somewhere. Today is mainly planche holds. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really sleep the best last night, but had a bunch of caffeine. Planche hold day, let's hit it. I call this exercise kickouts, and I gotta say, doing these with the ankle weights, a lot harder. But the big thing I think when it comes to planche holds that I found works really well is to use momentum. So as you saw, my goal is to do, at least for today right now, like a millisecond planche or something where I get into the planche position and then immediately snap back into like the tuck planche position. And I think this is useful, especially like I said, using the mirror, like I've talked about before. Probably one of my favorite tips, if anything, the most underrated pro tip, is to use a mirror, and I go back and forth between looking at the left and on the right to analyze my form. And I know it's a bit of a bro thing, but I do work out shirtless. That's actually why I'm working out in the rock climbing gym, because they allow me to work out shirtless. And I don't do that for any bro, like pump reason or something. It's more so I can see like every little bit of my body in the correct body positions. And so when doing this exercise, as you notice, what I did is tried to do like, as best I could, a full planche, no matter how short, even if it's like a millisecond planche. Those are pretty tough, I'm not gonna lie. The bicycles or scissors, I guess, I feel like bicycles makes more sense. But what I really like about them is you're pretty much doing like a mini one-legged planche. And I think what's important about that is for almost everybody, when it comes to every movement, you're never gonna be perfectly balanced on both sides, right? Whether it's both your legs, both your arms, whatever. And I have noticed my planche at certain points might be a little bit lopsided towards one side. And so what's good about this movement is it allows you to work both sides in a sense individually. Not gonna lie, that 1 day break wasn't long enough. Still pretty sore, but you know what? I feel like my body's adjusting, going from kind of like 0 to 60, you know, pretty quick in terms of going from my normal workouts to really just hitting the planche and owning the planche pretty hard. The past few nights, I've also slept almost like 11 hours. So I feel like my body has been kind of recovering a lot, but hey, it's Thursday, so this is now another planche hold day. So while I'm taking a break between sets, I want to talk about some planche theory. That's the best phrase for it. This is something I've heard here and there, which is really interesting. Mainly for planche holds, I find not as much for planche push-ups, although you could apply it to that. And that is this, the typical progression is, if you think about like frog stand, I guess, but then really tuck planche, advanced tuck planche, straddle planche, full planche. That's the typical progression, mainly those four, right? I guess you could add in like frog stand and other ones, but those are the main four: tuck, advanced tuck, straddle, full. However, I've talked to a few people, and I've seen this a lot online as well, that actually when you go to the straddle planche, it works your body in a bit of a different way. So I've had some people say, hey, if you're really trying to get the full planche, avoid the straddle planche. So what you should do is actually go tuck planche, advanced tuck planche, like really advanced tuck planche, and then full planche. I've even heard some people say you should do tuck planche. They're calling it a closed advanced tuck planche, where like your body is in the advanced tuck position, but you're a bit more kind of closed off, almost like a right angle. Then you're fully open, so you're almost doing the full planche, but not really, as in like an open advanced tuck planche. And then finally the full planche. So I'm gonna be toying around with that, because I will say when I do, like, say, an advanced tuck planche with full planche versus a straddle planche, it does feel a bit different. So I do wonder, maybe if my goal being full planche push-ups, should I avoid straddle planches completely? One huge pro tip that I really wish someone told me earlier, and I talked about this in a video I posted previously about like 7 things I wish I knew before training the planche, is when you think about going out, and this is something I'm trying to remind myself even now, a lot of people think about going up. You may notice that in some of these my like back was arched a bit, and that's also because I'm not leaning forward straight enough and everything. But a big thing is when you try to go out, like if I'm tuck planche or advanced tuck planche, full planche, etc., in that progression. So now think about going out, because a lot of people will go up. Think about, you want to scrape your toes along the ground. That's one thing I think I'm having trouble with, is that even if I'm leaning forward further, even if I'm leaning forward like well enough, sorry, a bit out of breath, but even if I'm leaning forward well enough, If my back position is like this, because I'm trying to go out and I'm thinking about going further out, it's not gonna look well, it's not gonna work well, as opposed to like, if I look myself in the mirror and think about my toes scraping the ground, that puts your body in that more of that like right angle almost position, so that when you do get to the full planche, your body's already in the correct position and it's already optimized. We're gonna do a hard workout today. For today, what I'm gonna do is do 100 straddle planche push-ups to start, and I'm gonna do half range of motion. So as opposed to, let's say on Monday where we did like deep straddle planche push-ups, today I'm really gonna focus on doing more quantity than quality, and doing almost half range of motion to really get that more elbow bend happening, right? And I think that will allow me to get better at just the overall up and down motion. So I'm halfway through these straddle planche push-ups. That set you saw was set 40 to 50. What I typically do, by the way, a little fun side note, is when I film these videos, I usually don't film my warm-up sets because usually not as good. I find my planche optimal time, it's almost like a normal bell distribution curve where in the beginning, not that good. And at the end, I'm gassed, so it's not that good. There's like a sweet spot, usually around set 4 or 5, where I find they're like the best, but as you can tell from this video, these are actually a lot harder than I expected, because I feel like when it comes to the straddle planche push-up, at least for me, everyone has a different sticking point. My issue isn't going deeper. Like these almost feel about the same difficulty as if I'm going deeper. It's more of the second you go from straight arm to bent arm, that right there is super tricky. Even if I was doing like micro straddle planche push-ups, I think these would still be difficult. And this brings up talking about math and statistics. This brings up a very important pro tip when it comes to training the planche that I found, and it's what I'm going to call asymptotical training. In case you don't know, is it asymptotical or asymptotical? I'm not sure, but in case you don't know, this is an asymptote. Remember when you did math in school and you're like, when am I ever going to use this in real life? Training the planche. So an asymptote is what happens when a line almost infinitely touches another line, but never actually does. So it gets infinitely close, but never does. That is the way I train the planche. So typically when I work out doing weightlifting, bodyweight training, if like say I'm running, whatever I'm doing, I go 10 out of 10. My goal is to have like a very David Goggins, or being more specific because I used to wrestle, like a Dan Gable type mentality where I can't do another push-up. I can't run another 10 feet. I want to completely destroy my body where I couldn't do any other workouts, like full 10 out of 10. I find when it comes to training the planche, my workouts only get to about a 9 or 9.5 out of 10. I find with the planche, you never want to do a 10 out of 10, because I find with the planche, one, you're way more prone to injury, and two, when I have gone to like say a 10 out of 10 doing the planche, I find that I always regret it the next day, where I'm almost sore in a bad way. I don't know, I find with the planche, you almost want to get to like the point where you're pushing yourself super hard, like it's like a 9 out of 10 in terms of difficulty, but never reaching that full 10 out of 10 like I typically would in a workout. As with the planche, form is super important, technique is super important, and especially with the planche, it's not about building these huge muscles. You may have seen online, there were people doing crazy planche stuff with super small arms. A lot of it is those microfibers that you need time to recover, to heal and grow. right, so 2 huge changes I'm now implementing for this kind of Planche Madness month. First off, I'm now only working out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I'm going from working out 4 times a week to 3 times a week. I've realized I think I really do need an extra break, especially if I want to hit it super hard. And this kind of coincides with the second thing that I'm changing. I'm now only working on planche push-ups. Looking back at my form, I realized like, okay, my straight arm full planche, even though I was only doing them in like mini increments, using momentum and everything, I feel like I'm closer to holding, at least to me, a full planche with straight arms than I am to getting a full planche push-up. And so I realized, you know what, I'm not gonna lie, like I said before in this video, I really wanna get like the full planche push-up. That's the main goal of this video, right? The full planche is just like an added thing, because why not have the yin and yang of planches? So I think what I'm gonna do now is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, only planche push-ups. No joke, this is definitely the hardest workout so far of this month or challenge. Like, part of me feels like if I should not do the ending exercises, I mean, I'm going to force myself, especially because I know that now I have a day break. So I feel more comfortable being like, all right, push it harder than I normally would. Because again, I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to push myself too hard and not be able to recover. But wow, I didn't expect this workout to be as difficult as it is, which is a good sign, right? I mean, the harder the workout is, the more it's building me up. And I mean, the ankle weights, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I know it's only 1 pound on each ankle, but especially when it comes to me trying to get the full extension, and especially in the bent arm pose at the bottom, like the full extension with my legs fully out, the further those ankle weights go from my center of gravity or the center of my body, the harder it gets. And yeah, it's rough. It is a beautiful day out. It is officially Wednesday in terms of this planche training. So first time technically training on a Wednesday. And we're actually gonna be working out outside today. I think what I'm gonna do for the kind of weekly structure now is, I really like what we did on Monday. Being honest, that I think I can just tell based off the way like my body feels and doing it, I think that actually gave me the biggest gains or the best progress of anything thus far. So I think if I did like almost start this month over, or if like say you're trying to do a planche as well, doing very slow weighted negatives, you know, like I said, with ankle weights or maybe even just without them, I think is huge. Today, I'm gonna do what I call planche pops. So I'm not gonna do any weightlifting today. This is gonna be a purely outside workout. And the reason why is we're on turf. So I can kind of slam into this a bit harder compared to the mats at the gym. And so planche pops to me, or planche push-up pops, PPPUs, or whatever, is as opposed to me starting and going super, super slow, and that's 1 rep, what I'm gonna do is start on the ground, pop up, and do almost like a millisecond full planche push-up. So this allows me to do, and I'm gonna be slamming into the ground a million times today, but what this allows me to do is to basically do, in a sense, a full planche push-up, right? I'm probably gonna do maybe 100 today. I'll give or take, I might do a little more than 100. I'm gonna feel it out, right? Because when it comes to these, using the momentum and obviously me jumping off the ground, I am gonna be able to do a millisecond full planche push-up. So this is mirroring, I'm pretty much doing the exact movement of a full planche. So we're about halfway through the workout, give or take. Check out this view, by the way. This is where I'm working out right now. Show you like the full pan in Playa Vista. I will say, I feel like it is nice to like mix up your, like where you're working out. There's something about it that I feel like, I don't know, it's all psychological, but it does, I feel like, make me work out harder as opposed to going to the same place every time and stuff like that. And especially for these, I feel like I should be looking myself in the mirror while doing them to analyze my form, but I feel like for these, I'm not necessarily trying to get like a perfect full planche push-up for today. I think it's more of me just being like, all right, I just want to do these exercises over and over, because I think if anything, and I've tried a million different planche exercises and holds and positions and workout styles, I feel like this is the one that simulates the full planche push-up the most. Out of anything, I feel like today, even though Monday was a fire workout and that really helped, I think what I'm doing today, I feel like is the closest. Now I think I'm at that point in the workout. I have four sets left. I think I'm at that point in the workout, and this always happens with planches. Like I've talked about being like asymptotical with your training. I think I'm at that point where my form's starting to slack, like I've talked about before as well, where a standard distribution curve, I think I've passed the point of my form being at this peak. So I'm gonna need like a longer break. Yeah, what's crazy too is the next workout we're doing together, which will be on Friday, will be halfway through the month. So after this, we have one workout and then we're halfway through this experiment to see if I can finally achieve a full planche push-up, even if it's not a good one. See if I can finally achieve a full planche push-up after a month of training. Obviously, remember, like I said before throughout this video, I have been training calisthenics and parkour and breakdancing and gymnastics for years, but I've never really gone all out on the planche. Like I've trained it here and there, which is why I showed you in the beginning of this whole thing that when I was doing these straddle planche push-ups, or when I showed you my like sloppy straddle planche push-up, that my knees were bent, my form wasn't good, right? I think that's also a bit of my flexibility. Like my hamstrings are super tight, but it's still sloppy, right? So almost halfway through this experiment, but these are feeling good, you know. And obviously, you know, like working out 1-on-1, progressive overload 1-on-1, which I've not talked about yet in this video. I'll talk about that maybe a bit later. But also each workout, and especially each week, will get significantly harder, right? Whether it's an element of quality, quantity, or weight, or combination of all three.
1 week later.
So it's been roughly about a week since the last workout, or being more specific, exactly 6 days since that last workout. I have never been more sore from training the planche than when I did those planche pops. Typically I work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like I've talked about. Now I'm gonna switch it up this week to Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I feel like I needed, honestly, like almost a week off because of how sore I was, which I'm not gonna lie, it made me excited. It made me excited that, I know it sounds weird to say that I was that sore, because I'm like, okay, I feel like out of anything I've done yet, to be honest, I think the planche pops are the closest thing in terms of getting me to the planche. Another beautiful day out today, although today we are working out inside in the rock climbing gym. Feeling pretty good. I feel like I'm finally recovered from that crazy planche pops workout last week. For today, we're gonna be doing something called MAPUs, or mechanical advantage planche push-ups. Sounds super complicated, but all it means is you do the hardest part that you can do with the planche at the bottom and the easiest part at the top. This is a way to kind of slowly move from progression to progression. This is a huge trick, I think created by Simonster. I'm pretty sure he did make this up, Simonster. So what you do is, like say you're trying to get to tuck to straddle planche. You start in tuck planche, you go down and switch to straddle, and then you go back up, switch back to tuck. So you're almost doing in a sense like a half tuck planche push-up, half straddle planche push-up. And I think for today, what I really want to do, because I only have like a week-ish left of training if I'm gonna get like this full planche push-up, is I'm gonna try doing straddle planche to start, go down, switch to full, and then when I go back up, switch back to straddle. Or maybe even try, which could be kind of interesting, like tuck planche to full planche and then back to tuck. But basically some variation of MAPUs involving the full planche push-up. It's gonna be interesting. This isn't surprising, first off, that going from tuck to full, easier than going from straddle to full, and then of course back to straddle, right? However, like I said earlier in this video, there was a unique theory I heard, or planche philosophy, that if you really want to get a full planche, avoid the straddle. Go from tuck to advanced tuck, let's say really advanced tuck, and then full. I wonder if I'm better off doing tuck to full and back to tuck than straddle, because I will say going from straddle to full, even though it's a little bit sloppy, I'm still getting warmed up right now, felt very different, but tuck to full felt more, I don't know what the word is, not cohesive, but it just felt a certain way. I don't know I wish I could word this better. It just felt like it made more sense. Like extending my legs out, bringing them back. So I feel like I might continue doing tuck to full MAPUs. I think they're gonna be better, to be honest. I gotta say that I know throughout this video, 75 or 80% of it has been me talking, 20% has been me working out and showing you my workouts. But I will say, in this past like few weeks, I've learned more about the planche, just in terms of trying it in a bunch of ways and pushing to the extreme. I've learned more about the planche than I have throughout my entire planche training. In just the past few weeks of trying out all these different workouts, pushing myself, testing out my soreness and everything. So I've learned a lot. I gotta say that. These workouts do suck. None of them are fun, but the experience overall is fun. I'll say that. But yeah, I think MAPUs, are now my favorite move compared to the planche pops, where I feel like I'm working out both sections of the planche push-up efficiently with a decent form. realizing is that even though the mirror is helpful to look at, I think this is about looking down where I can really kind of fully concentrate on how my body feels as opposed to how it looks. So sometimes I go back and forth. And I think the big thing now I'm going to focus on is one, when I go down, try to get as parallel and get as flat out as possible with the mindset of scraping my toes against the ground, like I mentioned a bunch of times in this video. So scrape the toes as I go down and lean forward. Then when I go to push back up, don't push out like this, but try to push forward as I come out of it. And that's a huge thing too, because you notice, this happens to me, this pretty much happens to everyone who does the planche, is when you do the push-up section, most people, if I'm like here, will push up and move backwards. The reason why is when you push up, pushing up while still leaning forwards is super hard. That's what makes the planche push-up, among a lot of different things, super difficult. So I think now I'm thinking, go down while scraping the toes, and then when I push back up, similar to what I did last time, as opposed to pushing up and pushing out, like I'm pushing backwards, I'm still pushing forwards as I'm pushing back up. And I think that's what I can do from now on, just over and over again. Couple things I realized. One is that I think I'm gonna do Mapus for the rest of this whole thing. I was gonna add in the weightlifting or even using the ankle weights, but now I'm at the point where I'm like, look, I've trained this entire month, optimizing my workouts, my supplements, which I'll talk about a bit later in this video, my breaks and everything. Now I'm kind of at the final boss, which is just trying to get this full planche push-up. So I might as well just keep doing these Mapus, because at some point I think things will time out if I have the right push and it's the right airflow coming in and all this kind of stuff, where I might just hit the full planche push-up and actually get it. The second thing I just realized when looking back at my form and everything, as I think these push-ups are looking better, is with the Mapu, going down is actually the easiest part. Going up, of course, is the hardest. I know it sounds very obvious, but I'm realizing now, like, wait a minute, I'm starting in tuck planche, going down, and then as I'm pushing back up, trying to keep the full planche position. So I'm realizing now, like, I wonder if I should be at the point where I should just start maybe in full planche, go down, and then push back up. Like, basically now, just kind of going for the full planche push-up. If I just do that enough times, maybe one of these times, it will just happen at that right sweet spot. Feeling really good today. I feel like that was an awesome workout last time. I contacted Simonster, sent him a video of at least what I thought was the best one, and this was his kind of piece of advice. So I think at this point, it's like, just keep doing the same thing. Pretty much repeat a lot of what happened on Monday. I feel like we're getting close. The biggest thing, I think, looking at the form, maybe lean a little more forward, but I think at this point now, I think I'm actually at the point where I think I don't really have to lean as much more forwards as to build more strength, like he said, and just be more parallel to the ground. And I feel like if I just keep doing this over and over again, there's gonna be one where I just hit the right one, but slowly improving, honestly. I feel like it's been a wild month. Let's just keep hitting it. All right, I just rewatched that footage. That one was close. I'm not gonna lie. I think if I got full extension up, maybe went back down a bit more controlled, I probably would have counted that one. So what that's telling me is my form is getting better and my technique's getting better. Because like that one felt just as hard as other ones that I've done, or I'm a bit more upside down U-shaped, which is just telling me my strength is getting better. If I just got that extra, it seems easy, but like it's one of those things that like 90% of a full planche push-up is easier than that extra 10% of the full planche push-up. So close, so close. Definitely getting closer. One thing I realized in that last one is when I push up, I know I'm getting super specific, but when I push up, typically I just keep pushing up until I hit a wall and I hope I can get that extra to push fully up. But now I'm thinking, as opposed to me trying to just do the push up, when I get to that point where I'm kind of stuck, as opposed to thinking about like just pushing up, just think about straightening out my arm, almost doing like a pop, if that makes sense. I actually wonder if that might be the secret sauce, because I'll get to that point, I'm like, I feel like I can't push up anymore, but I'm like, once I reach that point, I shouldn't try to push it up anymore, but just lock out my arm, slowly come back into position. Okay, so I know I'm talking a lot, but I've been thinking about this more and more. I'm just kind of speaking out loud in terms of what's going through my head to optimize this. I've also been looking at other videos of people doing full planche push-ups, obviously. And I'm trying to do this slow and controlled. Part of me says, I'm trying to get a full planche push-up. Like, what if I just go for like a really quick one? Like, I just go for like a bam, like a 1 second full planche push-up, as opposed to this one. I mean, if you look at the time and count, I mean, I'm doing like a 4 or 5 second full planche push-up, right? As opposed to when I've seen other people do it, they just go like boom and just bang it out. Obviously, they're a lot better and stronger than I am. But I'm like, what if I just try doing just like a casual one, just like a pop? Because the longer I'm holding that planche position, of course, the more tired I'm gonna get. I mean, it makes sense. So as opposed to trying to do this super slow, controlled one, just doing like, just going for like a quick one, maybe? I don't know. It's getting closer and closer to that fine but definite line. What's interesting is I thought the push-up going up portion looked better than the going down portion. But I think now I'm picturing in my head, what I'm trying to do now is to emulate and just picture me doing a full planche push-up. I know it sounds weird, but with everything considered, even throughout this workout and this whole experience, I'm not thinking now like, okay, like legs out, do this. I'm just thinking, okay, picture a full planche push-up, just do it. Just go for it. Getting closer, still not there, but close, very, very close.
This is the car you want.
That was it. Cheers. Having a few beers right now at Firestone Walker. Doing a little flight, as you can see. That was it. Now, don't get me wrong. Was it full range of motion? Definitely not. Was it a perfect parallel Full planche push-up? No. But it definitely was a full planche push-up. I looked at it and I'm like, wait a minute, that was it. If my friend sent me that and said, hey man, would you count this as a full planche push-up? Would you count it as like a sloppy full planche push-up, so to speak? I'd be like, yeah, honestly I would. So then I sent it to Simonster along with another video just to have a comparison. And I said, hey, just curious, as I said, not full range of motion, not the best form, but would you count it? Would you say it's a full planche push-up? And he said, yes, the second video, or the one that I'm showing you now, he said that would count as a full planche push-up. What a crazy month of planche month madness. Obviously, this is it's almost like when I know it sounds super cliche, but every beginning has an end, but every end equals like a new beginning or something like that, where it's like, yeah, I finally got my first official full planche push-up, which I've wanted to get for a long time, but that's only the start. Now I want to get I think a really solid one that is good form, good range of motion, good body position and everything. With the challenge finally being completed, I want to talk about all the best tips and tricks and advice I've learned about how to learn the planche, and especially the planche push-up, as fast and as efficiently as possible. This is going to be my recap, and rather than have crazy jump cut editing and everything, I'm going to treat this kind of like a casual conversation, as if me and you are hanging out, and you're like, hey man, what is the best, quickest, and most efficient way to learn the planche push-up? Now, I do want to say, of course, that planche push-up that I got, the full planche push-up, wasn't perfect form. I've said this before a million times. Wasn't perfect range of motion, right? But it counts a full planche push-up. And I will continue now at this point to perfecting it. My next goal is to get 5 really good ones, or to get 1 really perfect full planche push-up. But jumping in now to the advice. These are the things I wish someone told me even a month ago. I've learned a lot in this past month. Here's my best advice. 1, I'm going to start with supplements. I've mentioned that a few times throughout this month, but I'm going to talk about 2 main supplements that are super helpful for the planche. 1 is Joint Vibrance. I have no affiliation with this company. This stuff is expensive, I'm going to be honest. It's like $80 a month. So it's pretty pricey, so I only take it once in a while, to be honest, because I think it's a little overpriced, but the quality is there. And as you can imagine, hence the name, unbelievable for your joints. Like in terms of your elbows and your wrists, your body takes a pretty intense beating when doing planche work in general. Like it's very, very stressful on your joints. This I cannot suggest enough. The second one is creatine monohydrate. This is kind of the most cliche fitness supplement in the world. And I know when I mention creatine, a lot of people are like, oh, isn't that for like bodybuilders? No. Whether you're running marathons, or doing planche work, or you're doing parkour, or you're doing any other kind of athletic discipline, creatine monohydrate is one of, if not the most studied supplement in history. Super helpful for fitness. I will also give a couple honorable mentions that I was taking this month to kind of optimize my performance. 1 is L-glutamine. There is a bit of a debate if you're having enough protein, which I'll talk about in a second, if you're having enough protein, if this actually helps or not. But I took it anyway. I took 5 grams before working out, 5 grams after. L-glutamine has been shown to help you recover. And as you can imagine, when I was going hard this month, recovery was a huge aspect to that. The next thing is fish oil. This is something that a lot of people, I think, don't have enough of. I know Dr. Anna Patrick, who's a very famous researcher and scientist in the anti-aging world, has talked about fish oil. Super helpful for both a lot of mental health, right, and stuff like that, and cognition, but also for your joints. Last one, which is probably the most surprising, but this one helped so much, a mass gainer. Now, I know you're probably like, wait, a mass gainer? I'm not trying to bulk up and be beefy or whatever. I'm just trying to get the full planche push-up. Remember that when you train super hard, your body needs to recover. And one of the biggest ways for recovery is eating. Calories in, calories out. If you're burning a lot of calories and really putting your body through aggressively intense workouts, which is what I did, you need to recover efficiently. And the number one way to do that is nutrition. A mass gainer was super helpful. Obviously, throughout this month, I wasn't trying to bulk up by any means. But I noticed that by having a mass gainer almost every day, I noticed I would recover quicker because my body was, in a sense, starving for nutrition because I would just push it, go all out, as best I could, have the mass gainer, and that helped me recover a lot. So I wanted to talk about that as a quick side note. I want to stress, of course, I'm not a doctor, and I never pretend to be one, of course. So do consult with a licensed professional any single time you're adding something new into your diet or whatever. I always like to say that, just in case. But overall, those supplements really helped a lot to kind of give my body a little extra oomph to get that full planche push-up. Now let's get into the training. There's a lot that I've learned throughout this month. I want to start with the warm-up, because I've not talked about this yet, actually. I have two things, I'm going to be honest, that I'm hypocritical about, as in do as I say, not as I do. One is my warm-up, I'm going to put that in quotation mark, warm-up, used to be not really a warm-up. Like, I don't know if I'm the only one that does this. I hate warming up. Hate warming up. The two things hypocritical about, I hate warming up, and I hate stretching. Two things that you should definitely do that I did not. And in the beginning, I'd almost treat, like I'm doing 10 sets, I'd almost treat those 10 sets where the first two, I'd just go for it, and I almost treat it kind of like my warm-up. So, like, I would just try immediately going for, like, a straddle planche push-up or a sloppy one right away. Zero warm-up. Definitely don't do that. I noticed that when I would do that, kind of similar to running a marathon, where if you run those first few miles way too fast, you pretty much blow yourself out for the rest of the marathon. Likewise, I started to switch up my warm-up where I now said, okay, these sets I'm doing only warm-up sets. And I noticed when I did that, I was way more equipped and did better. So my first pro tip, I think this is kind of like a trend in calisthenics where you don't really do a warm-up. Do an efficient warm-up. This is my favorite warm-up. I did 4 sets of these. I did 4 sets of tuck planche pops. So what I would do is I would start on the ground in like a tuck planche position, but my legs would be on the ground. I'd pop and do that 10 times. So I'd purposely start on the ground and do this, and in a tuck planche position. I did 4 sets of 10. I found this is the most efficient way to prime my body because I'm doing, in a sense, a push-up, right? So I'm doing this motion, but I'm not just doing normal push-ups. I'm doing a push-up in a semi-planche-ish position to prepare my body for the planche workout, right? So that's the first thing I want to say is warming up. Next thing is, what would I suggest? If, let's say, someone came and said, hey, Mark, I want to get the planche as fast as possible. What workouts, of all the workouts you tried, would you suggest? I'm going to start by saying what you shouldn't do. 1, do not work out anything else. I said that before throughout this month. I didn't train anything else. The second thing I'd say, which is kind of interesting looking back on everything I did, because if you remember, in the beginning, I would do 10 sets of planche work, so to speak, then 5 sets of wall planche stuff, then a weightlifting section. Throw all that out. None of that. 2 moves. 2 moves, that's it. Just, I'm not making this up when it comes to workout. 1, the term coined by Simonster. I know I keep bringing him up, but he's like, might be the goat of planches. Like, he's someone who I idolized for years, just watching his form and technique. And he was super helpful throughout this month to kind of give me advice. But 1, the term coined by Simonster, or Simonster, whatever, however you pronounce that. I still don't know if it's Simonster or Simonster. I think Simonster sounds cooler. So, and that is MAPUs, Mechanical Advantage Planche Push-Ups. All that means, like I said before throughout this video, is you're doing a planche push-up where the easiest portion is at the top, the hardest portion is at the bottom. Because as we all know, when it comes to doing a push-up in general, pushing up is usually the hardest part. So like you're trying to go from like tuck planche to advanced tuck planche. Start on the tuck planche. As you go down to the bottom, go to advanced tuck. And then you go back up, switch back into the tuck, right? So you're kind of doing this. Let me see if I can do it with my hands. Like here, out, and then back up, right? So you're doing the easiest portion that you can do decently at the top, and then the hardest portion at the bottom. So you're almost doing, like, say, like, I'm making this up, a half tuck planche and a half advanced tuck planche. What's good about this is this mirrors the planche push-ups in general as best as possible and allows you to do half and half. As opposed to saying, okay, I'm going to do tuck planche, pause, now I'm going to try to do an advanced tuck planche. You're kind of doing a tuck planche, but you're also kind of doing an advanced tuck planche. So it's a way to kind of slowly get closer and closer to your ultimate goal, most likely being the full planche push-up. That's the first thing I'm going to say is the MAPUs. Second thing is the planche pops, which is a term I think I coined. I don't know. So I just call them planche pops. I think this also sounds kind of cool. Sounds almost like a snack. Like, oh, let's get some planche pops out of the fridge. Well, the planche pops, what I like about these is I only did them in the full planche position, and I did them as negatives. So what I like about the alternating back and forth MAPUs and planche pops is this. I think MAPUs, you kind of start, you're doing a full tuck planche in general, or advanced tuck planche, full planche, whatever. You're starting at the top, you're going top, down, back up. So you're doing a true, if I call it that, variation of a planche push-up. With the planche pops, you're really only focusing on the negative because I'm going off the ground, I'm popping up using momentum, and slowly lowering down as slow as I can go. That alone is huge. Negatives are a huge tool. Let's say you're trying to get your first pull-up. One huge pro tip is to jump up, go down as slow as you can. Fucking super, super, super slow. And then do that a bunch of times. That can actually help you get your first pull-up. I think if someone came to me and said, hey, I'm really trying to get my planche push-up, those are the only two exercises I would honestly do. I literally would not do anything else. No weightlifting. Don't even do any other. That is all I would do, because the combination of those two is massive. Absolutely massive. It's crazy. And I will say, you may have noticed near the end of this, I did kind of switch mostly to Mapus. I think the reason why is it allowed me to kind of do, like I said, a half tuck, half full planche. And then I was like, okay, at this point, I might as well just go for it, right? There's a certain point, I think, where I was getting close enough where I was like, okay, I'm going to have this one time where things just line up and all that kind of stuff. So I think if I had to do this again, honestly, I'd only do planche pops and Mapus. That would be the workout. However many sets and reps you want to do is up to you, of course. Depends upon the person. But I will give a couple techniques if you're trying to build your own training regimen. One is definitely focus on quality over quantity. I know before I was trying to do like half straddle planche push-up, stuff like that. No, I think I'd throw that out, honestly. With what I know now, I think quality over quantity, 2 bigger breaks. So for example, the last workout I did on this video, where I actually got the full planche push-up, this was the whole workout. It took me an hour, so it was an hour-long workout. I literally did 10 full planche push-up attempts. That was it. I did 10 reps. Technically, 10 sets of 1. That was it. I think if I had to go and do this again, I think, although the planche pops can be helpful, I think next thing near the end of your workout as like a way to just, get a couple more reps in, so to speak, I think I'd go back and do it more similar to strength training. And hypertrophy, in case you don't know, I know I've talked about a little bit about some workout philosophies and regimens. Hypertrophy, I'm trying to bulk up. Typically, not always, but typically you use lower weight for higher reps. So let's say you get 20 pounds and you're curling, you curl 20 pounds for, let's say, like 15 or 20 reps, something a lot. If I'm trying to do strength training, it's usually the opposite, where let's say I might be curling 40 pounds for only, let's say, 4 reps, right? So I'm trying to go for super, super heavy weight with very, very low reps. You want to treat that, in my opinion, similar to the planche. Like, I know some people say, oh, I'm going to try to get 20 tuck planche push-ups in a row until I move on to no. Quality over quantity for sure. Another thing I will say, and I'll give you some pro tips, again, when it comes to the training regimen, in addition to that, another thing I will say is what really helped me is every single time I did one, when I was training this, is I thought to myself, picture yourself doing a full planche push-up. That helped me a lot, not just in terms of like visualizing, but because it really got my body in the right position. This is something I've noticed that I used to do, looking back on that I've switched up, thank God, is pseudo planche push-ups. If you've ever done a pseudo planche push-up, what you're doing is you're doing a push-up, but your hands are more here, they're more by your waist. So you're still doing a push-up, but your shoulders are going over your wrists. Your legs are still on the ground though. This is, I think, a big training thing a lot of people do. And there's a difference between doing a pseudo planche push-up and just kind of going through the motions and actually doing it while picturing doing a full planche push-up. Likewise, I found a lot of times throughout this month, even looking back on it, I'd just kind of be doing it as an exercise. And I think a big thing that I learned is this. There's a huge difference between working out the planche like a workout and working out the planche to achieve the full planche push-up. 2 differences. And I think a good analogy to this is take kickboxing. Now, of course, we all know kickboxing, phenomenal workout. If you've ever done a kickboxing class, they're brutal, right? They're super brutal. You're sweating a ton. Really good cardio workout. There's a huge difference, however, between doing kickboxing for cardio, just to get some cardio in as a good workout, and doing kickboxing to actually get better at kickboxing because of the technique and because you're going to be preparing for a fight or something like that. Same thing with the planche. I think sometimes, not saying that I was going through the motions, but because I was pushing myself hard, don't get me wrong. It's not that I was going through the motions per se, but I started to realize, you know what? I have to treat every single rep I do, picturing the full planche push-up in mind. That I'm going to get into that full planche position and really go for it, or a semi-full planche position, and really picture in my head doing it with all my muscles and fibers and every little bit of me firing off in the exact right way. I find that was a huge game changer for me to actually get the full planche push-up. Another thing I will say is ankle weights. I want to bring this up too. Those were huge. I was going to get heavier ones. I was looking on Amazon. I was like, maybe I should get like 2 or 3 or 4 pounds. I think there is a definite point, maybe it depends upon the person, where having too heavy ankle weights actually affects their quality because you have to adjust your form to adjust for the heaviness. I don't think I'd probably go, if I had to do this again, I don't think I'd go above what I did, which is 1 pound on each leg, 2 pounds total. So 1 pound on one leg, 1 pound on the other leg. Those are huge. And if anything, I think the ankle weights, if I had to go back and do this again, I think I would do the Bboys without ankle weights. I think those are best without the ankle weights. Did I do them with the ankle weights? I can't remember. But I don't think I ever did them. The planche pops, however, because I'm just doing the negative portion, because I'm starting here, popping and slowing and lowering down, I think the planche pops are perfect with the ankle weights. So, and the reason why is because I'm really not even trying to do a planche push-up, as more working on the negative section, where I'm really trying to resist, even if I can stop and do almost like an isometric bent arm full planche, where I'm just holding that position, ankle weights are perfect for that. The ankle weights helped a tremendous amount. That is something that was worth it. Looking back, all those weightlifting exercises I did, I think that was a waste of time. I think 1, it was just time waste, being honest. And 2, I think it made my body more tired, and recovery is a huge thing. And so that's something I started to realize, like, you know what? I think the weights at the end are just make myself more tired and having to force my body to recover more, and they're just wasting time. I know that it's interesting because I know like the law of specificity of being more specific is true. Obviously, I knew that. But I gotta say, I didn't expect it to be as accurate where I was like, you know what? All of this is a waste of time. 2 moves. Bboys, planche pops. That's it. That's all you do. So, again, if I do this again, that's what I would do. And the ankle weights definitely helped. I'd suggest doing them once a week. Once a week should be like your ankle weight days. Now, in terms of structuring it too, I think Monday, Wednesday, Friday is the optimal schedule. I think that if you're starting out, it's not a bad idea to do like Monday, Thursday, only do 2 times a week. But I think having that break is huge. Another thing I would suggest, if you're trying to get this as fast as possible, I remember learning this when it comes to fitness training and everything, that even if you're working on a different muscle group, by working out, your body still has to recover in terms of like your central or your nervous system and all this kind of stuff. Meaning, let's say you do like, I'm making this up, Monday, planche, Tuesday, just legs. So you're working on a completely different muscle group than Wednesday planche, even though, yeah, you're working on a completely different muscle group. Or let's say you go for a run, right? You just go for a huge run. Your body's still working out, which still forces it to recover. So let's say if I had to do this again, or someone came to me, I say Monday, Wednesday, Friday. On Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, you don't do anything else. I'm not saying not to be active, but don't work out. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that should be it, right? Focusing on quality, just the Bboys and the planche pops, that's what you gotta do. The next thing I want to talk about is the whole philosophy of straddling. Which sounds really weird to say out loud like that. But it's straddle planche push-ups. I think that, I wish I could give them credit. I think that person who told me that, like I said earlier in this video, like, most people think, when it comes to the planche and positions, it's usually like, I guess frog stand you could count as one. Frog stand, tuck planche, advanced tuck planche, straddle planche, full planche. That is the usual progression. And remember, like I said, someone said to me, you know what? Don't do straddle. Go from tuck to advanced tuck to like say like really advanced tuck or open tuck, semi-full planche, full planche. That's the progression you should use because once you switch on the straddle, things just get a bit different and whatnot. I agree now. After doing what I did, I agree where I think if I do this again, I would never even touch the straddle planche. Now, for me, though, I think planche holds. I think holding a planche looks super sick. I'm not going to lie. I think the look of someone doing a full planche hold, fully straight arm and everything looks amazing. However, I actually think I like the look of straddle planche push-ups more. I don't know. Like, there's something about the straddle planche push-up I think just looks super cool. But if I had to go and do this again, I don't think I'd even touch straddle planches. In your mind, I think the reason why is there's something about like, you know, the position of your pelvis, like how to have like the tilt and all this kind of stuff, where I think what you're better off doing if you're trying to get the full planche push-up and everything is to slowly just open up your body. If let's say you're like this, trying to do like the tuck, slowly open up your body more and more and more to get that full planche. I think, again, doing this all over again, I would 100% avoid straddling at all costs. Again, that sounds really weird to say, but avoid any type of straddle planche, push up, any of that. Just start and tuck, go to advanced, go to like say, again, you could wear this however you want, go to really, really open or open advanced tuck planche push up, then go for like almost this upside down U, like, was that like a parabola? I'll call it like a parabola planche, right? Where you're kind of like this, and then go to the full planche. That, I think, is a way better progression because you're getting used to more and more of your body leaning out. And I noticed that the Straddle Planche, although I can't see some usefulness to it, I still think that the difference in my mind between going from like tuck all the way out to full feels different than if I went from like tuck to straddle to full. Like, it just makes more logical sense, I think, to just avoid the Straddle Planche, being honest, at all costs. It was a crazy month. Thank you so much for watching this entire video. One thing I want to say, might as well, is what about the future? Because I have had some friends, when I show them the video, being like, dude, I finally got the full planche push-up. Or like, oh, so you done? Are you going to move on? My thing now, honestly, is I think I'm just going to keep training it. And like I said a bit earlier, is to really work on perfecting it now. I want to get what I consider at least a full, true, good form planche push-up where my body's perfectly straight, and I'm fully doing the movement with effective range of motion, right? I also want to get multiple reps now. And what's kind of interesting about this, and this is something I was always kind of curious, and a good kind of like final point on this video is, when I finally would get the full planche push-up, which I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know if I was going to or not, as a thing on this video. Like, my thing is, I was almost kind of thinking on this video, I was preempting it, being like, okay, if I don't get it, I can talk about how, I gain a lot of progress. And blah, blah. So I was already kind of getting ready to not get it. I am very shocked of how quickly my body adapted, being honest, in this month. Looking back in hindsight, like, obviously I pushed myself aggressively hard, but yeah, I'm very happy, honestly, with the fact that I finally got a full planche push-up. And this is something I always wanted to think is, would I get it and be like, cool, I'm done. That's it. All right, now let's try a different exercise. Like, one of my next goals in fitness is to get an air flare when it comes to breakdancing. Or would I be like, oh my God, I got a full planche push-up, I'm going to train these all the time? Definitely the latter. I feel like that now that I got a sloppy one, now all I want to do is train full planche push-ups, because I'm not going to lie, at least to me, I didn't like training the planche, is a little interesting fact, until I got a semi-straddle planche push-up. That's when I was like, okay, it's kind of looking cool now. Like, it looks cool. It's like a party trick almost. And now that I'm getting to the point where hopefully I can do multiple reps of a full planche, because I'm still going to be training it. I'm definitely not going to stop training it. Especially at this point, the last thing I want to do is stop training, and then I lose some of the progress I got, and then getting back into it, I have to do a whole lot. Like, now that I'm here, I'm going to keep going for it. I think I'm going to train now full planche push-ups at least twice a week. And I'm now also, just because obviously this month I was very specialized in the planche, I do like to add in other things, like weightlifting, rock climbing is a big thing we're doing now, parkour and tricking and acrobatics. I think I'm now going to treat full planche push-ups kind of similar as like another workout. So like my workout might be, I'm going to do tricep pull downs with a weighted tricep pull down with the rope, combine them with full planche push-ups, and then after that so I'm going to treat it now as almost like I'm doing another exercise, but I'm still going to train them a lot to get them a lot better. And I think now at this point, I'm now excited to train it. Again, like I said, I wasn't sure if like after I got it, if I'd be like, oh, okay, it was about the journey, now I'm done with it. No, it's the exact opposite. If anything, now I'm more excited to train it so I can get even better, because I think that'd be so cool to like, I think one of my goals in the future, and this is like a super future goal, is to be able to do 5 really good range of motion full planche push-ups. I think that's my like next goal after getting a solid 1 good form full planche push-up. Because I feel like at that point, 5 is a big number, right? Maybe not for push-ups, but for full planche push-ups with good form, that's a big number. And I think to be able to whip that out, it sounds really weird to say as well, but to be able to just like, boom, just bust out 5 full planche push-ups would be epic, right? So a lot of training I'm still going to do. This is only the beginning. Like I said earlier when I was having that beer, to celebrate and everything, that, every beginning has an end, but every end equals a new beginning or whatever. I know super cliche and almost Disney-like to say, but I officially did a full planche push-up, which I still cannot believe I can say that. Super happy. Again, it wasn't the best form and everything, I know, but I finally got one. But now it's just the beginning. That's actually now bring everything full circle. Now I'm back to the beginning, where now I'm like, hey, just because I got one doesn't mean anything in terms of my future training. Now I'm going to keep training them and get my full planche push-up even better.